Good day, and welcome to the Budding Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Bridges. In each episode, I cover my experiences, both good and bad, of being a business owner, as well as my journey through the crazy world of entrepreneurship to reach my goal of earning $1 million a year. Now, today we're digging back into a little bit of experience that's come through the process of growing my business. And our topic today is going to be funnels. Now, people hear about them all the time. There's a lot of advertising going on out there for ClickFunnels, which is probably the easiest way to get involved in funnels and put them into your business. But I want to go in a little deeper view of this than just here's a funnel and, it will do all these different things. You could spend years working on a funnel and trying to get it right because things change in a sales and marketing world. And so as I've put these into my business and spent time over the last almost a year of really diving deep into the funnel process, I've learned so much and been able to integrate it in so many different ways that I just want to kind of take a little bit of time and thank the whole sales and marketing environment that's made funnels possible, right? A lot of this has been people who understood direct sales marketing, and they've integrated this into an electronic format that is much easier for all the rest of us to put into play in our business. Everybody asks me the same couple of questions, and I want to kind of cover those briefly, but we'll go into a little more depth on this. What are funnels? That's the most common question I get, especially when I'm talking to a client about them and they've never heard it, they don't understand it, maybe they did hear about it, right? And they always ask, what are they? I'm going to break this down simply. They're essentially a sales process that's designed to achieve a specific action. It's not more complicated than that. You can build complicated sales funnels, but the idea is you have an action that you want to achieve at the end, a call to action of a type, and you want to warm up your client or your prospect or whoever it is that's coming into this, warm them up slowly in a stair-step fashion to either collect their information, because we all don't want to necessarily have to give up our anonymity, but that's part of the game that funnels give us the option to do. It's going to warm them up to sell something. It's also can be used to warm them up or prep for another sale. So in other words, not just one sell, we're going after several things that we're going to sell. And finally, another one that's really common as an action is to give something away. Now, that is what we call bait. And that's the technical term for what is happening when you give something away in exchange for somebody's information or in exchange for them actually going down a path a little bit further. And really, when you're doing a funnel, there are 5 stages that you want to move a sales process through. Obviously, there's a pre-stage. We want to get into a point where we're building it, putting it all in play, and building an offer, okay? Not just necessarily selling a product. And I can go into more detail about that in a little bit, but first just want to kind of move through these phases. So there's a pre-stage where you're looking at your offer. And then stage 1 is actually your traffic. That's getting people to actually go and go through this process. Stage 2 is your bait. That is where you're giving away something for free or at such a ridiculous price, free plus shipping. Or $9.95 for a book and free shipping. You hear these types of things happen a lot, especially on like eBay, Amazon. You get all of these different things to get free shipping. I deal in the music world with Sweetwater a lot. And because I do so much volume and I spend so much money, all my shipping is free. And so basically that's a nice little bait for me, is for me to buy something. It's whatever the price of that product is the price plus sales tax. So that's stage 2, that's your bait. Stage 3 is a front end offer. This is usually a lower tier type of thing. It's not going to have a huge price tag on it. It's going to be not free, but it might be something like adding an audiobook to go with the regular physical book. That a lot of times is one of the more common ones, or you get checklists, you get a lot of things to go with it as a package, maybe some videos. A lot of times, I have a book on systemizing your business. It's part of one of my funnels that it comes right off of my homepage, and you can get this book for free. One of the things I'm adding in later on is all the videos that go along with it. So you don't just get the book in a soft format, you actually get all the videos that go with it. And we add in the checklists and the pieces of the puzzle to expand upon that. And that's more of a front end offer. We're asking not a lot for it. Then you have your middle offer, which is you can have an upsell or a downsell. If you've ever been to McDonald's or any food place and you ask for something that's like a Coke or whatever, and they'll say, will that be large? And that's a fast way of doing a quick upsell to gain more money. They make a lot more money doing something. That's why they went to package deals, number 4. And it includes a drink, and you decide which size of drink you want. I believe McDonald's still has their process where you can go in and buy any size of a drink for one price. It doesn't make any difference if it's small, medium, or large, extra large. It's always the same price. That's kind of a middle offer to entice you to spend more money. And if you don't spend that more money, then they have the thing called a downsell, which is something different that's going to be cheaper, that's kind of like a fallback. You didn't go with the top offer, so we're going to give you something that you can come in at a lower price point. And then a back end offer is usually a big program that you have going on. It's far higher pricing, and it's going to be something that's really going to require your major involvement. This is where you get into a lot of other types of packages and offers. Is not just here's a book, here's our library. I recently bought the entire library for Dana Derrick's, which is pretty extensive. I think he's got 7-8 books that he's written, and I now have a copy of all of those books. And I think he did that as an upsell. So that was something. And then if you want to get into his big program, then you can drive into the program. So that's the back end offer. That's usually something that's much larger. Essentially, as you move people through the 5 stages of this, and you want to go through to get people through this, the process is you're going to want to collect their lead information, right? That's pretty much key. The fewer steps you can take to collect the information you need, the fewer steps you can take, the better the process is going to be. Now, if you ask for first name, last name, company name, telephone number, address, zip code, the whole thing in your first batch, that may actually kill your funnel from moving any further. It's a lot better to simply ask for their first name and their email address. If you're just going to give them something that's really simple, you don't need all this fancy information. Oh, I need your full name with your middle initial and all that good stuff. You just need a first name and an email address. If you're going to give something away, that's the minimum you need to be able to thank them after the fact is over with. And you certainly want to know their first name. Go on to that first name basis. Get a little bit of familiarity. So when you do send them an email thanking them, you actually use their first name. It's not some surprise. If you're going to move beyond the bait and you're going to go to a front end offer, you're going to charge for that. And chances are probably pretty good that, well, hey, look, in order to charge it, you need a first name, a last name, you need a credit card number, you need an address. You get all of that information down the road. You'll get it. You will be able to use it more effectively without scaring people away. That's kind of an important thing when you're collecting their lead information. So that's a little bit about a funnel. I want to talk a little bit about how I use them because it's a little different from what everybody else does. If you go to my website, you'll see that I have some books that you can download right off of my homepage. Each one of those is its own funnel. There's a blockchain book and the Systemize Your Business book. Both are free. You can just download it, but I do want your information. And each one of those has its own funnel off of the main website, which is also a funnel. So I'm using ClickFunnels in my case. I've used Lead Funnels and a few others. I've pretty much stabilized on ClickFunnels. I can diagram everything out, put it all into place. There's a funnel for my homepage and my contact us and what have you. And then I have for my B3 Accelerator program, I have another funnel for that one. And you can actually sign up when I get everything done. You'll be able to sign up into the funnel and drop it in and add in that program. And it'll start with a lot of basic information. But the idea is we're using a members area to deliver it, part of a funnel, which is nice. And you can deliver it based upon what they've bought. If they've bought this, show this. If they bought this, show this and this and this. It just makes life so much easier when you can take the bulk of your website and stick it into a members area, and then you're not complicating the message when you're dealing with people. So that's kind of how I do it, is I'll give things away free. I do have certain things that I sell, and I do those in a different fashion. I usually sell through my programs rather than to warm up to my programs. If you want the program, it makes sense. I have books that you can buy. I have a lot of other things that you can integrate to fill out your knowledge of how this particular program works. So I do it a little differently than some people. I'm not so much of a salesy kind of guy. In consulting, you're really not selling anything if you're doing it the right way. You're finding out what the problem is, and if you can solve it, and if it makes sense for you to work with people, you're really not needing a whole lot of information. My L5 consulting website is straight HTML. I have not converted it over to a ClickFunnels style, but it's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I've got a great designer that can handle everything, and that makes my life so much easier. That's kind of how I do things. Is I'll use this combination of funnels and regular straight HTML and then blend them together so that they work seamlessly. Most people won't even know that you're moving from website to website to website unless you actually look at the web address in the top of your browser. You won't see that it's moving through here. You won't even maybe notice it. A lot of times I try to make it as seamless as possible. The funnel process is so much easier now. Why not use it if you can for the things that it's super, super good about? And then you don't have an expense to convert something from HTML into ClickFunnels or into some sort of a funnel process. And so you can keep things a lot cheaper in that sense of the word. The other question that I get a lot is, why do this? It's a lot of work, right? You've got to plan out your funnel. You have to go through and you've got to spend a lot of time doing marketing and pre-sales and just kind of getting things set up. And you have to test them piece by piece. The idea of doing this is essentially to break down the resistance of the buyer, or what we would call buying resistance, which is a fancy way of saying we're going to make it easier for people to trust us, right? They have to know us, they have to like us, and then they have to trust us. The know, like, and trust concept is really easy. That's part of basic marketing 1A. And so if we can get them to know us and like us, we want to break down that natural resistance and do it in such a way that this particular prospect can become a customer without being scared off. That's the reason why you don't ask for all that information in the first place. We want to break down that natural resistance. We want to get the information we need in doses and only enough. This is a thing I learned the hard way. You get only the amount of information you need to complete the specific action you want to achieve. Remember, we talked about that. What are they? Sales process designed to achieve a specific action. So never ask for more information than you need to accomplish that action. And it'll save you so much headache and so much time. Part of this breaking down of the resistance and why we do this is we want to not only break down that resistance, but also we want to get away from prices more and head more into a value proposition. Many cases, we don't want to just sell a product. We want to sell an offer. Maybe the offer would be, instead of a DVD of, The Greatest Showman, I think it is, the one about P.T. Barnum. Instead of just the movie that you're selling, maybe you go out and find a couple of books that are out of print, hard to find, and in the public domain, and you can put those together with the movie and create a small offer that gives you that offer bump, that upsell, if you will, to the initial CD, DVD, 4K, whatever. And the idea is you're creating more value that you can then charge a higher price for. And it's based on value rather than price. You're putting pieces together that people can actually use the way they want to use them, not necessarily just get a video. Anybody can go to Amazon and buy that video, or you can go down to wherever your local store is and probably find it. If they have an electronics section, very likely it's available there, especially if it's in the 4K section now. So you don't want to just sell products, you want to build offers, and these offers take time. If you go through in this process and build these funnels to deliver value, price becomes even less of a resistance. People will spend more for more perceived value. Whether it's really good value or not is up to the buyer. But if you're selling something and you're building an offer stack, right, you're going to have less resistance to the price when the value starts stacking up. And especially for signature programs, things that only you do, you have to say things like, you can buy this, it includes this piece here, a value of this piece here for a value of that, for this piece here for the value of that. If you paid for all three of these things, you would pay $99 for all three of them. But by buying them here, you're able to get them for $27. Somebody can say, I could spend all that and go out and get it on my own, or I can buy it here as a package deal and then buy it for less money than if I bought the individual pieces myself. So this is your offer stack, and you're looking at value. Funnels allow you to present value in different ways, especially if you build a funnel with the logic to say, if they do this, drive that direction. If they do this, go a different direction. That kind of logic, if else then, you get these concepts that you can build value in a way. Maybe somebody doesn't care about the books. They don't really like the books. Maybe they're not a book collector. I am, but not everybody else is. Like I said, I just bought all of Dana Derrick's books. I have them all, and it's like, yes, thank you very much. I have something physical I can I can put it on a bookshelf and pull it off whenever I want. Sure, I could download and actually have a lot of things off of Kindle, buy it off of Amazon, go through, get the soft copy, get the audio book. There's lots of ways to absorb this material. But my preference is to have that physical piece on my bookshelf. Number one, it looks cool because it puts a lot of books in your library. But also, I learned a long time ago that I really dig into these books and absorb it and can reach up and pull a book off of the shelf and go right to where I'm looking for something. I don't have to scroll down through page after page after page. I can physically go to the page I want, open it up, and since I already know the book's layouts, kind of keep that in the back of my mind as it's the way that I learn things. I know the index, I know the glossary, but I also know and spend a lot of time memorizing the chapters. So I know what material is inside of the book. I'm not just reading a book passively. I'm absolutely immersing myself in that book, especially if it's a training book or something that's going to be something I need to know more to build on. So the funnel topic is really, if you don't know anything about it, I would say, you can go right on my webpage, randybridgesconsulting.com. Down in the bottom right hand corner, there's a link down there to click on to get a free trial of ClickFunnels. And they give you a ton, absolutely a ton of other videos and learning and things you can read. And they've done a great job of putting together a massive library simply off of a trial. 14 days, no cost. The monthly fee is probably more than you would pay if you went out and got like a GoDaddy account or something like that. But at the same time, you're able to take advantage of a lot of sales processes behind the scenes that you may not be aware of. And it's like, oh, you mean I can do that? Kind of like me. I don't follow the traditional funnel process. I stack funnels is basically what I do. I do funnel stacking as well as funnel hacking thing where you look at somebody else's funnel and you essentially don't do an exact duplicate, but you make yours look and act just like theirs. And you put your content in that's specific. If they've got if the button on it is red, yours is red. If the font of their headline is green, you make yours green. You set your background white just like they did. And if theirs is working, yours should ideally work. You're improving the odds of things happening. So this is something that everybody should be aware of. It's not a new tool, not by any stretch of the imagination. It's been around for a long, long time. But the ability to integrate funnels within your business for your online side of things is massive. And I hope everybody takes advantage of that. I'll be coming back off and on and talking a little bit more about the funnel process, a little bit about funnel building, but I'm going to do that later on. I've got a few more topics that I want to kind of go into, like I was in partnerships the other day. Today I'm in funnels. We're going to be picking these pieces of helpful areas that people can advance their own business with. And that's always my primary role and goal, is to help people grow their business, not just sit there and have their business. You got to be working on it actively. And any tool that you can utilize that's going to make that whole process easier, that's one of the things that I just enjoy doing. It's part of being a teacher. It's part of having this desire to go out and just help people. I hope you enjoy some of these tools and things we're talking about here. Again, this is Randy Bridges for the Budding Entrepreneur. I'm signing off today. I hope that you have the best in your health, your wealth, your business, everything about you. Take care, enjoy, and have a great weekend. We'll see you on the other side.